no.
All right. You're on.
Good morning, track and field fans. We are here for day 4 out in Eugene, Oregon, outside Hayward Field. That's still where we're at, in the New Balance Tower. If you are in town and you find yourself around here today, come on out and get an I Love Track and Field hat. $35 here at the Cube, and we'll all have them on at that time too to convince you to get it because they look pretty great on. Right, guys? Right?
They look really good, Karen.
Thank you. On that non-scripted note, I'm going to go ahead and read what you guys know to be the New Balance pledge. Everybody, boys.
I don't want to lock the logo.
Oh yeah, no, oh my God, don't lock the logo. New Balance celebrates runners of all levels and styles. We believe there's no single right way to run. Just your way. If you run, no matter the distance, pace, even frequency, you're a runner, okay? New Balance, run your way.
Yes. Anyway.
Any goddamn
Anyway,
way.
just not the wrong way, because that's a problem. Guys, I think we had a great day yesterday, right? But it ended kind of early. Did everyone else get, a full 8 hours of sleep?
No.
No.
Eric and I were in the sauna
Wait,
late last
what?
night.
You guys have a sauna?
We have a sauna at the house.
We do have a sauna, yeah.
Okay. We've
Yeah,
got two vastly different Airbnbs.
Yeah. We were getting a late night sweat in.
Yeah, we were just really
Yes, sir.
debriefing the day.
Is it like a normal sauna? Or is it like a compact one? Like, was it tight, close one?
Eric was sitting on my lap. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
No, it's
pretty,
roomy,
got a bit
but
of
we
room.
made it compact. Yeah.
Yeah, we made it work.
Yeah.
We hopped in there.
He was still sitting on my lap. Yeah.
Oh man. So okay, I'm not gonna lie though. Saunas have some good benefits. I don't know if you follow, the health podcast, but especially for men, right? I'm serious. Don't they say
No,
it?
we
Like,
were talking about it last
That's
night.
why we were in it.
I was actually asking Eric,
Yeah, that's why we were in
what
it.
are the health benefits? I know we laugh a lot, but we're serious guys.
Yeah, no.
We take things
We
seriously.
care about our hormone
Yeah.
profile.
Yeah.
Our energy was feeling low last night. We
Right.
needed a bit of a boost. We hopped in there. We were fired up. We were up all night. Haven't slept a wink. Headspace is crazy right now.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the beeping.
Chris is all okay.
There it is.
What's
Hold
Chris
on.
got? One
Yeah.
second.
Who retweeted?
Before you guys go any further, the chat has some problems with your pledge.
Oh, no.
First off, Mitch, take your Jim O'Connor says, "Yo, take your head off during the pledge."
He's not wrong.
Oh,
He isn't
whoa.
wrong.
It's not like
Well, we weren't. Yeah.
And then James Greenham
Sorry, Jim.
says, "Do the pledge again. This time, more conviction."
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
Okay. No.
Zach Kennedy said,
I'm
"God bless New
feedback.
Balance."
Okay.
So,
More
all right.
conviction. Okay, but I'm gonna hold it. Can I defend Mitch for a sec? It's a New Balance hat. I get it. If it
Yeah.
was a non-branded hat, but which,
Well, also, I think because we're talking about like the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Mitch doesn't give a shit about America, right? He doesn't respect the country like Jim O'Connor respects the country. So he didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
But he does bring up a good point.
okay, you know what? Let's do it again. We all take a line. More conviction. I think this is like a more cowbell situation, but Mitch, why don't you start it off? We're each gonna take a line. More conviction. We're giving the people what they want.
I hope Jim's watching. Stupid Jim. New Balance celebrates runners of all levels and all styles. Even you, Jim, no matter how you run,
And
they celebrate
believe,
that.
They
Oh,
believe
shit,
there's
yeah, they
no
do.
single right way to run. It's just your way.
If you run, no matter the pace, no matter the distancy, the distance or the frequency, you're a runner.
New Balance.
Run your way.
Now they're gonna like that. Yeah, they're gonna like
You
that.
guys didn't have the
Yeah,
hands on.
No.
I was worried about
Not at all.
hats. I mean, I was worried about
I
hands.
think it got worse. Wow. Well, thank
I got
you.
super nervous on that one. Yeah.
Distancing.
Yeah.
Oh
It's like,
man.
Jesus.
I think we need to do that. I think we're here for some direct feedback.
Jim was happy with that. Oh well, my day.
Really?
I woke up today and thought,
Really?
what would Jim want me to do?
Right,
and
right.
I'm glad I got Jim happy.
Right.
Well
no,
done,
you got to
Jim.
do it. You got to, and we're here for feedback. You know what? Tomorrow we'll give you what you want. Give us a different way to say it, and we'll mess it up again. But I would say, guys, yesterday it was a big day. I can't say it was that distancy, but it was incredible.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah, that was great.
That
That was
Yeah,
good
that
use of it. Yeah.
That is the right way.
to flip it.
That's the
That's a
right
pro.
way to
That's
use
a pro.
distancy. That was
What
good.
did I say?
Pros. Yeah.
About the transition.
That was really impressive, Karen.
Yeah, no, it sounded right. But we started off, with that 100-meter prelim, and then we ended, in the 100-meter sandwich there, similar to the previous day with Sha'Carri. The biggest upset for me was Christian Coleman. I mean, that was pretty sad for me that he didn't make it. I was kind of rooting for him. Was that what you guys were expecting for the top three?
I thought it was going to be Christian, Fred, and Noah. I thought Kenny might miss, although he did look good through the rounds. I don't know. He kind of fell apart in the last 40, didn't he? Like his start was blistering as per usual, but he kind of just didn't have it at the back end. Fred's my favorite sprinter of the US guys, so I was really stoked to see Fred make it through. Like obviously Noah was entertaining and like Kenny was good, but I love King Fred, so I was happy to see him. And I mean Coleman will go in the 4x1. I know he'd be pissed off about that, but at least he still gets to go, right?
Yeah, I was definitely surprised that Christian was the one left off the team. I would assume he was a lock for that top three, and maybe Fred and Kenny were kind of fighting for that third position. But it's such a stacked event that you can any order is can happen on any day.
Yeah, and it was clearly the top three. I mean, of course, you love like a fight to the finish, but especially when it's something with that deep of talent, when it's clearly the top three, I feel like you feel good as a fan. Like we're sending the three best people.
Well, what did you make of the high school kid? He's fifth. He makes it on a squad, does he not? He goes in that 4x1 squad now.
Wow.
He's just finishing high school now. I think he's going to UGA next year. But
okay, I mean it's impressive. It's in the 100-meter. I mean that to me is like one of the main events here in the U.S. I can't imagine he's not going back home, and there's not a full parade in the town for him.
Yeah, how does the 100 does it go to 5 for who they bring
there
for
were
the
posts
4x1?
last night of people being like, he's going to the Olympics.
I think they probably would bring it just in case as like an alternate or because you bring
Chris
4 and one
knows.
guy gets
Yeah, so it's top 4 assured in the relay pool, and then after that it's 2 discretionary spots by the Team USA coaches. But then I think that's for the 100. The 400, I think there's a couple more spots because of the mixed relay.
Okay.
Right, so he's not officially confirmed.
No.
As part of the squad. Yeah.
I wonder. So I guess it's up to the coaches.
Yeah.
If he's the coach pick, I don't know.
That's hard.
We'll
would
see.
you bring it? Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of experience, I guess, but
Yeah, would you bring him?
yeah, I mean,
Bring him for the clout, right? I don't
Just
know.
for the name?
That's how I live my life. I'm like,
yeah,
do it for the story. But we saw a few upsets, right? So we saw some cool things, but most notably, I'd say Hillary Bohr in the steeple. I mean, that was also another heartbreaker yesterday, taking that fall. I don't know if anyone didn't have him on the bingo card for not just making the top 3, but winning.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, like Eric said last night, the amount of work that he had to put in to get back on that pack to even be there when the move was made was so hard. I think Jaeger spoke about it yesterday. He was like, man, saw Hillary like eat shit, and then 300 meters later, he was like right on my outside shoulder. So even he mentally was like, oh, he's got to be gassed now moving up. But unfortunately, it talked about it. He had to change his like stride patterns. He had to change his feet. Like he had to change everything to make this team. And unfortunately, he misses. But
Wow, do we think that was it?
I was just gonna say
like
maybe,
maybe-
the foot mix up created a bit of a stumble.
Yeah, the
I wonder
coordination.
if he was a bit more calculated in how he got back up to that top 3, and because he caught back up with some distance to spare. Like I think he was in 4th or 3rd, like with 300 to go, and then got eaten up.
Yeah.
I wonder if he had been a bit more reserved and held out a bit, if he could have saved some energy and gotten that top 3 in the last like 200 or 100.
It's so hard, like especially in the steeple, because we've seen it other ways too, where it's like you stumble and you can't get up, and you're just losing that the momentum. I almost think sometimes to drive off the adrenaline, to be like, okay, I'm going to get up there, and then it's almost like it settles in, and maybe that's what we saw. But yeah, either way, a huge upset that he didn't make it. But I would say at the end of the day, that can happen in a final. That can happen in a final at the Olympics, and so. unfortunately, it's just a super tactical event where we don't necessarily see that maybe in other events where key players who are so consistent. You know, we're not seeing Grant Fisher fall. We're not seeing Yard Nagus fall. We're seeing key players fall in the steeple, and I think that's just like the devastating part of the event.
Yeah, there's not a lot of water pits in the 5K.
Yeah, and it's a bummer. It's a bummer.
It would make it more interesting.
One lap water pit. Last lap water pit. Yeah, I mean, it is a shame, but we talked about it at length last night, what this 3,000 meter steeplechase selection looks like. I'd be interested to know whether Corgan can now announce where he's going to go race, or like this next 7 days, what that window looks like for him. And now Evan gets a night to sort of like dust things off and have a think of whether he's going to go chase or whether he just waits to see what Jimmy does. So it's, again, I went hard at it last night, but as a foreigner, it's now entertaining for you guys to sit in the seat of every other international to be like, what's this kid going to do? Like, is he going to get there or is he not? So it's, welcome to World Athletics, guys. welcome to the grand scheme of World Athletics, not just the US hype bubble. It's, I'll be interested to see what Jimmy does.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and it's you're right. We're going to get a little taste of what the rest of the world has to deal with, and hold out until early July. But a lot of exciting things that happened yesterday, and looking forward. Well, the last thing I'll say, this was Kendall Ellis, right? That got locked in the bathroom yesterday. That's insane. You know how they have like heart rates on like before the race?
Yeah, they should. The Coros heart rate monitor. Yeah,
I want to know what her heart rate was locked in there. I mean, I just also love that it's such a relatable experience. I mean, who hasn't been like locked in somewhere and you're like, this is forever? We just haven't had the Olympic final on the line. You know?
Yeah, that you would be so rattled. So rattled. I'm not
race.
surprised. I'd be like, I know I'm out.
I'm done.
But I'm out. Yeah, I'm not actually coming to the line. That would be, way to overcome something like that.
And of all the places to get locked in a porter potty,
not where you want to be.
Easily the worst. A porter potty on a hot day, easily the worst.
Oh man, I just want to know if someone walked past that and was like, "Oh, what's going on in there?" And
you got to imagine. Okay, so she's banging on the porter potty, and people are walking by like she's got it figured out. Yeah. It's rough in there for her, but like she's not locked in.
It's one of those lessons you got to learn on your own. Yeah, you got to be able to get yourself out of there.
The security guard's like, I don't want to get involved in that.
I don't know who's in there.
I don't know.
I don't think I'm about that.
Like I can hear her screaming, "Help!" I can hear the cry.
Like I don't know if I believe her.
Yeah. No, I've never been more confident.
I'm gonna let her finish her business in there.
Yeah,
and then she can come
figure out a way. You know, that's. I think actually everyone needs to be locked into a scenario, and who gets out is who I feel confident in sending on the Olympic team.
Yeah,
I've never felt more confident we're sending the right girl.
Could possibly one of the competitors have just locked her in.
Yeah,
they're like, hey, Kendall,
wow.
she's Ellis. She's gonna make the team. Let's try to get her out of this heat.
Yeah.
Slip a stick or a lock on there.
That'd be hilarious.
She somehow got
in the
out.
courtroom. Is she coming? No, I think we just go.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident she's
Help!
not coming. Yeah.
Help!
Yeah, don't worry about that noise.
Geez. Well, someone that I also think could be locked in a porta potty minutes before the race and it would have a heart rate of 120 is Yard Nagus, because that's. What can I say? I'm on my notes today.
You're really on one, yeah.
It's like I wrote
turned
this.
Eric's fuck up into something special.
Yeah.
That was epic.
I'm trying out here, but I think that, everyone, I would love to see have the Coros watch on at the beginning. We saw Yard with a 120, beats per minute heart rate on right before the start of the race. He is so calm and composed. It's like, I almost want to know, like, obviously that plays into a factor, but we've seen people, if you're not excited enough, I mean, you just have balance, right? Of being excited, but being calm. He's got it. It's his strength. And he is someone that we don't really see make mistakes.
No, he's surgical in the way that he runs these 1500s. He's got it down to a fine art. He can do it in any way, and that's not through anything other than trial and error, right? Like he's been kicked around a little bit at times. Obviously now he's very dominant, but I don't see in this final him having it his own way. I think there's guys in there that are really starting to step up. The biggest of them is Cole Hocker. To me, he's been the best through the 2 rounds. To me, he's looked the most comfortable and the most in control. And to me, I think he's the strongest in the field. So it'll be interesting. Those two, I think, are the 1-2, whatever order that goes in. I think it's going to be Cole at the front. But I reckon, like, Yared's going to have to race. He's not going to get it his own way. He's going to have to race.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any of those guys necessarily like locking Yard in the porta potty. They're just class acts. They're class
acts. But who would
acts.
it be if they did?
Really?
It's
Yeah.
gotta be Hobbs. Come on, if it's not Hobbs, you know he's got a little like, I feel like a little sneakiness about him. Maybe a little goofiness.
A little playful energy.
Yeah, a little playful energy.
Yeah, goofiness, man. Yeah.
Whoa, Eric.
You're calling everyone goofy. Yeah.
That's right. I call everyone goofy,
Yeah.
and I don't mean anything.
Yeah.
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 endearment.
I mean, I'm so excited for the 15. It's going to be such a good race. You could see it playing out a lot of ways. Obviously, Yard and Cole are the heavy favorites, and we've been kind of going. You know, a lot of people have Cole. Have been shouting Yard from the mountaintop.
Who?
So it's going to go, and then that third position, it's kind of up for grabs. Cooper Tears looked fantastic all season. He had some. It's not even really shaky. He got like boxed in a little bit in the prelim, and now everyone's like, no, he's done. Yeah. But I still think he's got a really. Hobbs just looks so good, running alongside Yard in that last semifinal. So I think that his stock went way up on that one, but it's anyone's race in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and we know that this can come down to a 400-meter race, and I think what's so great about, you know, sometimes it being a little bit of that soccer clump ball we see almost in like Pee Wee sports, and then it comes down to 400 meters, it becomes dynamic, and I almost think the personalities come out. Whereas, like, I always say, you know, America loves the 100-meter for the sprints, but like to me, the 100-meter equivalent in the distance is the 15 because we get those personalities. And for me, I think someone like Craig Engels has like the dynamic personality. If it came down to a 400, that's what we want to see. We want to see someone fighting, and it's someone like him that I think if that's the race, right, it doesn't go out honest and it's slower. He's, I think, in the bag maybe for 3.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one I would want to make that team more than Craig. The way it's the American 1500s used to, you know, sit and kicks were a standard procedure in these finals. It'd be tough to see it coming down to you can't see it being bunched at the bell with and being a kicker's race.
Yeah.
I don't think that bodes well for the guys who are just so fit and so talented. It's too much time to stretch it out a bit before that. But yeah, Craig's got a great kick. I think he's clearly having fun again, and he's looking better than he has all season.
I thought Mac was jumping in, but
I can. Eric, what do you think the last 800 is going to be?
Oh, it's gonna be it's gonna be really fast. I'm getting flashbacks to I remember Centro's last 700 in 2015. That was just absolutely. What did they run that year? And it was all in like the last 600. And when I say they, I mean Centro.
I think it was the 2016 trials, and I think Centro ran like a 146 last 800, and all squeezing, all negative splitting each 100.
Yeah,
that's
so
crazy.
I think we might see something similar today.
So do you think
they'll. I could absolutely see something similar. I see it being yard pulling. You could maybe see Cole and doing it, but I just think that maybe Yard looks a bit like that's his strength. He's the fastest in the field. He's looked really good in these prelims. So easy, relaxed. I would expect it to be 146 or faster.
So just on that then, if there is to be a fairy tale story, like if someone is to come over the top of, for lack of a better term, that big 3 that people are labeling it as, do you think it's going to go under the standard? They're going to have the opportunity now to come third or second and run in the standard?
Because maybe that like maybe it's not 146 for the last 8. Maybe it's just fast from the gun, and it's just a really hard race, and they don't close 140. It's hard from. It's not just a wind up last 8. Because you could also see that you could see Cooper and Cole having some team tactics, and they're like, look, let's switch off, let's work together, make it really hard from the gun. That's our best way to get us both on that team. I do expect it to be a fast race, faster than the the 334 in that semi. I would expect a trials record, whether that's
For sure.
from the gun or winding it up throughout.
Yeah. Am I wrong in this? Was Craig? Did he say something about maybe doubling in the 800 and the 15? I thought I saw him.
He doesn't have the. He didn't make it in the.
Because I thought I saw him say maybe, if he could, he would. And I'm like, that's someone with 800 meter strength. You know, if that's something you were even possibly considering doing, he I think could pull out a fast last 800. Maybe more so if it's honest. If it's more of an honest, not much of a negative split between the two 800s. I do think it could come down to him.
Yeah, and I'd agree with Eric, and I agree with you. I would love to see Craig make that team. Like, he's a guy who deserves it. 2/4 in Olympic trials is such a brutal storyline.
Yes.
But, more to the point, he's having fun, and agreed. When he's having fun, he's the most dangerous he can possibly be. I think guys that we talk about the fairy tale, like I know the big three, but guys like Joe Wascombe, and I've been singing his praises, Henry Wynn, the likes of these guys, if that window's open, like you said, Eric, where it is fast and these guys have the ability to pick up speed at quite a reasonable rate and can kick, if they're around it, they're the guys that I think those big three would be really nervous about and worried about come that final 200.
Oh, yeah. Joe Wascombe, Nathan Green, Liam Murphy, these guys. Ciati, even Elliot Cook, Henry Wynn, of course. All these guys are finishing so strong. It's not these on paper. You can say these three are the best, the fastest. They are probably going to make it, but it's never quite plays out like that.
Yeah.
Any of these guys have the ability to make the team. It just depends on how the races run.
Yeah.
Well, and how the races run. I mean, I'm hoping for a clean race. I mean, if it comes down to it, though, I hope something doesn't happen where it's we have Hobbs in the mix, and I think he's feisty right now. I think he really wants, he wants it, and he wants to be on that team. We saw him at the LA Grand Prix, as we said, kind of fight down the home stretch. I do think he's young enough where, not like a tactical error, but I think he's going to be feisty if it comes down to that. So hopefully we don't have, any errors where we got to replay and have any issues, but I know we're going to see him fight. If he's whatever lane he's in, he's fighting to get to the end.
Yeah, no, you've got to fight. This is the time. If you're ever going to fight for a race, this is the race to fight for. I want to see elbows out. I want to see guys putting hands in front, being like, get out of my space. We talked about it the other day. There's no reason to be polite in a race like this. There's one shot. This is your Olympic dream on the line right now. If you got the likes of Yared or these bigger names moving through the inside, don't just give up space because they want to get through. Hold your ground. And that's kind of the stuff that we saw from those college kids in those semis. They held their ground, they found clear air, and that's why they made their way through to the final. So if you are a guy that's not in that big three, if you are a guy who's not in these conversations we're talking about, stand your ground. Be strong because anything can happen. You can make it through.
Yeah, we're in America. Stand your ground.
Yeah. Stand your ground.
And if you like that, you're right. And I will say, guys, if this wasn't enough for you, after the afternoon show, we've got Eric Jenkins back at MacFleet, a handful of other guys on the Old Dogs Track Club, which we're coining it. And they're going to be talking about the 15 and giving you a little bit more of that insight that, maybe Mitch and I don't have experience in. So tune in then. But something else that's coming up here that we haven't seen. I mean, these ladies are fresh in. I don't know when they got in. Maybe they've been here for a while, but we haven't seen them on the track. It's the women's 300-meter steeplechase. It's the first round. It's about 6 o'clock. And as we know, key players are out. There are so many places up for grabs. Someone, for me, Valerie Constein, I mean, that's my shoe-in. I don't know if you guys have a shoe-in, but I'm just looking at who's consistent, who is a fast time. I think we're going to see her, and then I think the next two, a little bit up for grabs.
Yeah, there's been so much, the heavy favorites from years past, medalists, Emma Coburn, we were talking to her yesterday, Courtney Frerichs, injured. It's so if you're the women on the start line, everybody believes they got a shot to make it. Courtney Wayman is probably a favorite in this. A fan favorite, Ali Ostrander.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she's looking great. She ran a PR just recently. Mm-hmm. Would be amazing if she could make it through to the final, start battling for those positions too. But yeah, it's it's kind of it's a blank canvas for these women.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Allie, she's just got the story, right? Who doesn't want to follow someone who is so public about struggles and just the good and bad days? I equate her someone to like a Craig Engels, where they put their personalities out there and it's shameless. It's like, this is who I am. I'm bringing you along for the journey. This works for me. If it works for you, great. If not, adios.
Yeah, 100%. Her YouTube channel is actually very, very entertaining.
It's good.
Yeah,
good stuff.
So funny.
It is good. Like, I was watching that not too long ago, the video of her running her PR, and my attention span is shit house at the best of times, but I was locked in and I was so entrenched. And to be honest, I didn't know if she was still running. I hadn't followed really women steeplechasing in this country too closely, but I was hyped when I saw that she was running and running well. And like, if she can feed off that confidence, like you said, the fact that she's putting herself out there, and that vulnerability can really do something for you. Can really make you so self-confident and have so much self-belief that you can do anything. So look, you'd expect her to get through to the final, and once she's there, it'd be epic to see that storyline have a fairy tale finish. But she's got some class to topple first to be able to get on that plane. So
How many? How many? Do we know how many women in this have the standard already?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
What is the standard? Let me see. I don't know if it's up there.
9:23 dead.
Okay, so Allie just missed it by a second, but a PR. She's hopefully in a little bit better shape now, a couple more weeks of training under her belt. I also think there's no one else I would trust better to run a steeplechase than someone who's lived in Alaska and is on a trail running team. To me, the steeple it's a grinding sport, and yes, fast times obviously get you in, and we've got a lot of women here with that standard clearly than some other distance events. But at the end of the day, I mean, like we saw in 2021, Leah Fallon, I mean, that was devastating. She fell on one of the final barriers and just couldn't recover. And as we saw with Hillary Bohr, those things happen, and it's who can grind, who can not necessarily run the fastest last 400, but who's had adversity and overcome it. And for me, like Allie, that's both physical, like she's from Alaska, she trail runs, she knows how to grind it out, but mentally she's overcome a lot of stuff. She's gonna be hard to beat, in my opinion, like for top 3.
Yeah, I would agree. And I guess this is like a unique race in that, as you guys said, the big hitters aren't here.
Yeah.
So it really opens the door and opportunity for this new fresh crop, or women that have been in these finals before and haven't been able to make a team. Like, it is a really unique position where you're not talking about a big 3 or a big 4 or a big 5 that you expect to be there. It's like, oh, okay, anyone on their day, any of those 8 and Allie and probably women that are around that 9:20 marker on their day could find themselves on an Olympic team. So it's a pretty unique experience in middle distance racing here.
And those women, we talked about like Emma and Courtney, they kind of are the ones that set the tone in a lot of these prelims.
Yeah.
So without that, someone's going to need to step up if they want to. If the people who don't have these Olympic standards want to get those times, they're going to need to do some work out there.
Yeah, it's not going to be like, oh, I'm just going to hop in with Emma and follow along. And we saw a little bit of those changing of the guards last year, right? When was it Chrissy Gear who, was able to get the win over Emma Coburn. And to me, it feels like there are people stepping up. And, Chrissy Gear is also someone, I think, in the mix. And, she's great, not having maybe the most consistent compared to like Val Constein. I don't think she's in the bag, but she knows how to beat key players. And to me, it's like, is she going to be the one to kind of kick it out, be that Emma Coburn? Who's going to step up is what my question is.
Yeah, and sorry to go on it again. Like, there's 5 women within 3 seconds of that qualifier as well.
Oof.
Right,
yeah,
so that could
right
be
there.
13 women potentially that are right around there. Come the final, if they run under the time, anybody can make it.
Yeah,
that's a cool final proposal. Like, if they all make it through, it's top 5 and then the next 4 fastest times. So you're right. Like, who's going to take? It just presents a whole new storyline of women's steeplechasing in this country. Who do you expect to be out the front? Who's got the best kick? Who's going to step into that next role of leading this steeplechase charge? You're going to see it here at these Olympic trials, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Olivia Markovic is someone, that I think is to look out for too. We see a lot of these collegiate runners obviously in the mix here, and maybe more so, I think this happens in sprints. We see, someone maybe not perform their best or win at nationals, but they come here and they do some damage. And I think that could be, something that we see Olivia do today. She got second at nationals. I think you maybe come in with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. Also, maybe you're not in full form at nationals, maybe unintentionally or intentionally. Maybe she just wasn't as sharp as she thought she was, or that they planned to be. And so I think that just leaves a window of opportunity.
Yeah, I think that a lot of times with the collegiates who are really fit, really like they're focusing so much emotional attention on NCAAs that as soon as that's done, it's almost like a weight's lifted off the shoulder, and it's like, okay, now just have a little bit of fun and compete now.
Right.
And they're not going in with as much emotional baggage sometimes as they do to an NCAAs maybe.
For sure. Some hopefully some pressure. But also we're getting in some breaking news. I don't know if we want to show it up on screen, but
What?
Yeah,
The hell's going on?
The whole production team in the back is just giggling over this Fred Kerley
yeah, we thought we were
boxer
like hitting
brief
it off.
shot.
But, wow.
So new
Skims.
sponsor?
It's Fred Kerley is proud to represent his Skims partnership or sponsorship.
That's actually huge.
Big
that's
for the
huge.
brand,
Yeah.
Kim.
Damn,
What?
Holy cow, guys!
he looks good.
Skims is
Sorry.
killing it
He
though.
looks good.
Skims just what did Kim Kardashian just do a partnership with the NFL, right?
Chris, you should recreate that shot.
Yeah. A million years, a million guesses what he was going to announce. That
That's
wouldn't have
awesome.
been it. Good on him.
He's
way
got-
to step
Wow.
left field. I like
He's
it.
got to run in those.
Yeah,
Oh, it's-
those briefs.
It's USA with the rings.
Yeah, we're zoomed in hard.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. About that.
Yeah. Jesus.
That's awesome.
I think that's
Good
incredible.
for him.
Good for him. Good for Kim K.
Hey. Playing checkers,
It's
he's
good for
playing
the sport,
chess.
yeah.
he
I'd
knows
kill-
what he's
yeah.
doing. So we were talking about the other day, right? Where it's like, I hope he knows what he's doing. Well, clearly, he had shit in
Yeah.
the chamber because he's dropped
Okay,
this.
but I
He
love
had
this.
Skims
Yeah.
rock
He was like, oh,
loaded.
you're worried about me?
Yeah.
Oh, wait till I show you this.
Yeah.
Oh, I just love that he's going to be like in some like contouring probably outfit. I love that. We're getting representation there. Members, recently, what was it? Zendaya is sponsored now with On.
On.
I love seeing the intermix of, brands on different levels of, oh, that's a luxury brand. Oh, that's just an athlete. I love seeing celebrities mix in, with both of them.
Good for Fred.
Good
Love
for
that.
Fred,
Yeah.
Fred.
Bring in some different eyeballs to the sport. That's great. Good for Fred.
Wow.
What a boss. Love
Good.
that guy.
Okay, well, we love that. Hopefully,
You like that.
and Fred likes that, more importantly. But finishing off here, I guess, with the steeplechase, let's go top three. Who are we thinking well, I guess, sorry, this is a semi, so we don't have
Yeah.
to predict all the
Yeah.
way to the
Yeah, I'm like,
final.
come
but-
on.
I'm going to be honest. Like I don't not know enough about the women's steeplechase, so I'm going
No,
to
that's
have
fair.
to watch these and
Yeah,
like,
let's
really
see- let's see who
analyze
looks
like,
today- how people
who
look
comes
today.
out. But you
Right.
expect these women with the Olympic standard to make their way through.
Yeah.
That's the shoe-in.
Yeah, and quite comfortably at that. I agree. Just looking on paper, Wayment must be the one that people are really going to be looking at and expecting to lead the charge and maybe win these trials. But it'd be, like I said, this race and this event presents itself with a fresh opportunity for a lot of fresh faces to potentially
Right.
make an Olympic team, which is exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
Who do you think? I think you're more across this
Yeah.
than Eric and I, for sure. Like, who do you look at now to be, you expect to be the ones to push this tempo?
Yeah, I mean, and I said this kind of earlier, but Val Constein, like, I love that, she's gone, I don't love that she's gone through 2 knee surgeries.
Yeah,
but
I love it. I love that her knees are
Hoping for
absolutely
a
fine.
third. Yeah.
I'm hoping for more. No, I love the tenacity. If someone going through an injury like that and prevailing and quickly, getting back on her feet in a sport like this, I just love the storyline. So her and Alio, to me, I'm just always, rooting, and I don't know if they're in the same heat, but I hope they're, if are, able to work together, just look at each other and say, hey, we got the best stories here, so we might as well do it. But those are my top 2 contenders that I'm looking out for. But then you're right. After we see the semis today, we're going to get a better indication of who to talk about. Moving on, though, right after that, we've got the men's 400 final, and as we saw from Quincy Wilson, he's only getting better. His trajectory right now is set to probably break another UA under 18 record again.
Yeah, what a great story. What a great story, right? And I think it was Chris's interview yesterday where he was like, "This is the best day of my life." This is a kid who clearly isn't overawed by the experience. This is a kid who's accepting it for what it is and being like, this is as good as it gets. Like, I'm running with my idols. I've run an Olympic qualifier. I'm through to an Olympic trials final. Like, I'm breaking 42-year-old records back to back. Like, shit, the storyline is writing itself. NIL deal with New Balance. Things are up for Quincy. So, look, he just gets to rock into this final now with the least amount of external pressure and only the utmost internal confidence, and just go like, what? I don't think a lot of people maybe even expected him necessarily to get through to the final. He was the fastest non-qualifier. He just continuously keeps progressing through these rounds. So Quincy, an amazing storyline, but holy shit, did some of these experienced guys look really good yesterday. Really good. It's going to be a cracking 400-meter final.
Yeah, like I remember. I know we said that Michael Norman's isn't at 100%. He's dealing with a couple different injuries, but he looks great, and I do think he's going to be tough to beat. Quincy Wilson's is the biggest star at this meet right now. I mean, the ovation and the reaction that he's getting from the crowd when they announce his name is like head and shoulders above everybody else. They love him out here. So he's. And he did advance on time. It's going to be really tough for him to get that top three. Incredibly tough. But again, like he's having, like, he's had the best day of his life yesterday. He just keeps having the best day of his life.
Yeah.
Imagine that for your. I mean, imagine just every day of the week's the best day of your life. I mean, he's clearly doing. He's fine.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Just if he just keeps having fun, it's not out of the cards to say he could have another best day of his life and surprise everybody.
100%.
I mean, he came in, I think, not even having broken 45, and now he's competing at guys who have consistently, over their career broken 45. And I think once you hit that mental barrier, it's like he's just so fresh and he's on that trajectory. Why not keep going? He's having fun with it. He's young. I love how young he looks too. It's like a boy amongst men who is keeping up and challenging them. And talking about some of the older guys like Michael Norman, I mean, he was looking left, looking right. He did look good, and I do wonder if coming down to the final, he's going to look left, he's going to look right, but he's going to see Quincy, and I wonder what he's going to think. An opportunity to obviously have a youngin on the team and maybe even be a little bit of a mentor.
100%.
Quincy Hall looked great yesterday.
I was going to say, Quincy Hall
two
is...
Quincy's, maybe two Quincy's.
Well, I asked him in the mixer, and I said, man, what do you think of little Quincy? He said, little Quincy? He said, brother, he's big Quincy. Like, no one gives a fuck about me. They're all about that Quincy. But he's a guy who's progressed really well as the season's gone on. Like, I saw him in Stockholm. He took over the top of Vernon Norwood there. Like, these guys did go and race those 2 Diamond Leagues, which we didn't see too many Americans doing that. But he's been consistent. His message all the way through has been, I'm building. Like, I'm continuously building. The blocks are in place. I'm ready to go. Every round he's looked better. He looks comfortable. To me, I think he's the guy that is going to take out this final. I think he is the guy that's in form. I think he's going to be the one to put a lot of that pressure on Michael Norman, who, as we've said, might not be at 100%. He could be the guy to capitalize on that. And personal favorite, Vernon, like the New Balance man, like he's another one that's been racing with, I don't know, I'll still call Quincy Hall Big Quincy, but he's been the guy that's been racing with Quincy. He's a guy looking for his first individual Olympic spot, and to me, those 3 are going to be really, really hard to take down. But Quincy Hall, I think, is the guy that's going to topple Michael Norman, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think we'll see. I mean, it's coming at... It's a little bit of an earlier night as well. I mean, it's at 7:09 tonight on the dot, so we'll be able to see that. The 400-meter final. A lot of finals going on, so the one following that, we'll lead right into is the women's 5K final. And so that's something I think is also... There's some key players and some youngins. We've got Parker Valby. She's not as young as as a Quincy Wilson high school runner, but is going to put up a fight. And I think that's the common theme of what we're seeing here, right? With this women's 5K final.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Women's. This is going to be a great race. Ellie Purrier looks so good. It's hard for me to see her losing this race. I think it's hers to win. But again, Parker Valby, you saw her in that prelim. She again runs from the front, but she's not used to having people who are on her and faster than her to run with. So I wonder if she does switch up the tactics a little bit and not try and run for the front and drop everyone, because it's just that probably won't work. You've got Elise Cranny, who looks incredible, rounding into form at the right time. Carissa Schweizer, Josette Andrews, like all these athletes are lining up to make that team, thinking that they can win it. So it's going to be exciting. I don't know. I wonder how fast it's going to be. Again, if Parker decides to take it out hard from the gun, but you could see it going a lot of ways.
Yeah. Would it be an interesting time for her to change up her tactic? Right? Like, it might be smart, but like, it would be an interesting time for her to have to adjust to a different race plan in like an Olympic final. So I would expect her to be at the front and pushing that tempo. Like, I know probably these women, I think she's capable of running under the qual. Like, she's run 14:52. She's just missed it.
Right. On her own.
Yeah. And so I think she's more than capable, but to your point, are you more than capable to run at that pace knowing that women who have run like 14:30, 14:40 and are so class are right behind you? Because in the NCAA, she's, lengths ahead. That will be the greatest test for her, and that'll be the greatest resolve of like her maturity and I guess coming of age of the distance. So I went really hard like a few days ago and said I think she wins the trial. Then I watched Ellie run and I thought, okay, maybe I'll backtrack. But we're in America. I'll stand my ground. Yeah. I'm still gonna say, Parker's a huge chance, but Carissa and Ellie to me looked just
right.
Yeah,
they look great too.
So good.
The thing about Parker, though, I don't have her winning on my score, but that's because we know what we're going to get, and I think those girls know what she's going to get. I mean, we've seen it with Michaela Rose, and in the 800, a lot of these college kids maybe just don't have the professional, obviously, racing experience. I think they do what they know they can do. Why switch it up? Also, I can't imagine how nerve-wracking that is. I don't think they have maybe the confidence yet to go in and switch it up, what's been working for them this far. So I just think the girls that are competing against her, Parker, today, they know what she's going to do. I think we all know what she's going to do. She's going to try to go to the front, and she's going to lead, and that's how she runs. I see someone like Elise and Ellie who have to double on back for the 15. I think they're going to tuck right in, and we're going to see that semi again, where they're just tucked right in the back. They're going to let her go. The question is, when do they take it? And I think that's, is it a mile to go? How much leverage do you want to give Parker until you're confident? Yeah, it's in the bag. I'm out kicking her no matter what.
Yeah, I agree. That was the scary part of Ellie's race, though, how easily she shifted. Right, from just like chilling to then being all of a sudden, like you could have been sitting in the stands, talk to your mate for 30 seconds, turn back, and she was like 45 meters ahead. You're like, what the hell did I just miss? Did everyone fall over? Like, her change of pace was so just remarkably impressive and so much further ahead of what the rest of the field was.
When she turned around, she didn't look a little left and a little right. She turned her full neck around. She knew how far they were like, back. I think she really knew.
Gapped that far. But you're right. Like, obviously, you'd be silly to say that they're not going to be thinking about the fact they have to come back.
Right.
Like, athletes of this caliber, yes, they're going to be in the moment because it is their Olympic trials final and they want to make the team. But I'm sure there'll be a massive part of it where they're like, I don't want to have to use any more energy than I quite possibly have to. Could we see a game of chicken borderline where, like you've said, Parker just goes bang and they back the fact that they can work as like a cycling peloton and bring her back, and then could it become a narrative of, oh shit, we've left it too late, like maybe she's too far ahead? I don't think so, because they are so fast, these women, but maybe a couple of them might miss the move if it is Parker that goes up the track and makes them work for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see Parker being able to she might be able to gap some people. It might not be, you might be able to see a pack of, 5 or something. Maybe they break away, but these women are just so strong that she's not going to be able to shake the heavy favorites.
What a great snap. That is just... God.
She's like an owl.
Yeah.
Yeah. She did a full 180 on the net.
Yeah. God, she is.
She's been doing her mobility.
I was gonna say that. I mean, that looks like a dynamic stretch right there.
Yeah.
She's killing it. Yeah, and obviously, Parker. She earned 5 NCAA titles. Right, that's the most I think a collegiate has earned in one academic year. She's got that confidence, but there is nothing like the confidence of, say, someone like Carissa Schweitzer, who made a team last year. She had those calf injuries, and she's coming in, I think, with having recovered from that, seeing a full recovery. We see, I think, a lot of danger on the track sometimes with athletes who have gone through that and they're on the upswing and they come back like with a vengeance. And to me, her and similar Elise, who's gone through a rough year with just some coaching changes, and not to segue, this is kind of a run-on sentence, but something that I love with Elise, if you listen to her post-race interviews, I had the privilege at Pre-Classic to interview her for a little bit. She is so brutally honest. So people have been like, how's the 2 changes been? I mean, she's just looked dead in the camera and said, it's rough. Like, how does it sound?
It sucks.
Yeah.
I have not enjoyed it.
It's been brutal, and that was what it was. She said, I just wasn't enjoying it, and I love when they ask her about Team Boss, because that's like, I think sometimes the elephant in the room, hey, that's an incredible team. Why'd you leave? She makes it all about herself. And she goes, I wasn't happy. I knew I wasn't performing. I was exhausted. I was tired. This wasn't the right fit for me. And she internalizes it. And I think when you don't maybe play a victim like that, you are more empowered to make a change that's right for you. And that's what we've seen her do. And she said, I think there was a hiccup before Pre-Classic and she wasn't as fit as she wanted to be, but got through it. The last, she said, couple weeks of training have been awesome. And what we saw from that prelim, she's going to take it.
Yeah.
I think she's going to take it.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of these women, like Josette Andrews is another one who's been a little bit, hasn't been healthy and had the season she would want to have going into this. So a lot of these favorites are just now kind of rounding into form, which, I mean, kind of bodes well for them if they're looking on to Paris. But yeah, it's anybody's race.
I think the biggest question is that Heat 2, right? Was it Heat 2 that did like 16s to qualify on?
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's what's tough for me because someone like a Caitlin Toohey, I mean, that's not, a 16:09 isn't even close to her PR. Shit. And these women are maybe slightly more rested. Yeah, right? Yeah. Slightly more rested, but it's such a unique situation where we just don't even know how a Caitlin Toohey's fit because was 16:09 hard for her or was it super easy? We don't know. We're going to see today if she's rested or if unfortunately that was a harder effort.
I mean, if the 16:09 was hard, she's fucked for today.
Hard final.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a hard slog ahead tonight.
Yikes!
Yeah, it's funny looking at these season's best, and then it's just Caitlin Toohey's 16:09 because that was her season opener.
She ran that at like 14. I think. She was 14 years old.
Well, but I mean, that's someone I completely forgot about that is in this race and is so class. And obviously, we've just spoken about it. A season opener was at 16:09 the other day. So I guess similar to a Thing Moo, what we're seeing is like, different because, Caitlin's been far more injured than a Thing, but it's like, shit, you're coming into these trials and this is your first taste of being back racing. What does that do for you?
Right.
Nobody can doubt the competitor within Caitlin Toohey. Nobody can doubt the fact that when moves are made, she's going to do her absolute best to be there to make them. Whether or not she can shift through the gears like we've seen her do throughout her whole collegiate career and into the initial stages of a professional career, I don't know. We're going to find out tonight, but probably another one of those wild cards that these women would be thinking about. And if it's getting to the crunch and it's getting to those final stages and she's hanging around, she's probably someone that you're slightly nervous about and you're probably monitoring coming into that final 1,200 meters at least.
And we haven't even brought her up, but Emily Infeld.
Right.
A veteran, made a lot of teams, has world medals. She's absolutely so, and especially with these kind of the favorites not having the season they've wanted, being a little bit banged up, not being at 100%, she might be feeling extra confident, sees that opportunity to really stick her neck out there and make that team again.
Yeah, 100%.
To me, she's someone who, we've seen have some high highs, but we've seen have some low lows. And, as a fan, you go into this type of race and you want to root for her. You want to root for her to have that high. And I think we'll know early on, especially in the 5K, you can't expect someone to not even be in contention, maybe even, the first K, if you're not even in the conversation. It's hard to see someone who maybe has, not been so consistent. You're not going to be like, they're going to come out of nowhere, but if she's in the mix, we definitely cannot counter out.
No, 100%. It'll be a great final. Like, and in a host of great finals tonight, this one really stands out.
Yeah, today's stacked.
Yeah, this is a crazy,
There's so many
crazy
races.
afternoon. Yeah,
Right.
this is wild.
Wow, and we're gonna, end on a great note too. With the day today, we're gonna see a women's 800-meter final. We got a little taste of the preview yesterday, especially with Kate Grace fighting, as we've seen another competitor out there. Don't we? I just love to see competitors fighting. I think it's what you said, Mitch. It's what makes the sport exciting, and who doesn't love a little contact in a non-contact sport?
I wonder how Kate's waking up and feeling today.
Yeah,
I mean,
because she trucked that fucking sign. Like
Yeah,
she didn't just
How's the
graze
sign?
it. Like,
How's the sign this morning?
She bodied that thing.
yeah. No, there's a dent in that side.
They had to get a new one. It's actually broken.
Yeah, no. I hope she's. I mean, she bounced right up, and I saw her post race recap afterwards. She says everything's all right, but running on adrenaline then, and hopefully everything's all right. She's a fan favorite, a true veteran of the sport. She's very smart in how she races. I'm sure she's going to be racing the smartest out there today again. But you've obviously got a thing who's always when she steps out there looks unbeatable. So how do you stack up against that? We're looking at some shots of Kate. She's
Right.
some.
Look at her arm.
I want to be. The abs
Scraped
distracted me
up.
first, and then I was like, "Oh, and she's cut up."
Yeah, she's caught up in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Oh, she's injured. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
see that.
I'm like, she is just shredded all over.
Right. I love that. I mean, the abs. I think they bounced maybe her off. I
Yeah.
don't know, and then everything else got.
She was actually okay.
She's good.
Yeah, no, it is a crazy final. Brutal that they have to back to back. Like they're back after yesterday. I thought maybe they got a day in between, but clearly not. So now it's a war of attrition. Who's the strongest? Who's the fittest? Who's ready to rock after back-to-back days?
Yeah.
We talked about it extensively, like the expertise of Raven Rogers, like what she was able to do yesterday to come over the top. I think a lot of people probably counted her out from making this final, particularly winning a semi. And really impressive. You can see the shot here. She's wide here. Like she has moved where she needs to move to get there. Obviously, just edged ahead of Sage. Who was really brave in the way that she ran the race. But I don't know. Like, I've seen this before, throw a blanket over like 5 of them. Yeah.
And Raven's always somebody who just has a good close when she needs to. She's not someone that I'd expect to be doing any work up front. She's not someone who's going to push the pace early and try and make it a really hard race. She's someone who's going to be closing the gap with 100 meters to go and storming down that home stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and go ahead. Oh,
Here we go.
More breaking news on the morning show.
no.
Fred?
Oh my God.
James Corgan. We know where he's going to go.
Oh! Not
Yeah.
Uzbekistan.
He's not,
Is he going?
not Uzbekistan.
Is he going overseas?
No, actually, he gets to stay pretty close to
Wow.
home. So, just heard from someone at the University of Pennsylvania that James Corgan will be racing at Franklin Field Saturday, hoping to run 8:15. They just added the steeple to the event.
Wow.
Sorry,
That's pretty.
Franklin Field.
That is incredible what you guys can do in this country. You can just add a steeplechase to a
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah, that's
pen.
why you take your hat off for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
and stand your
That-
ground.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So that's on the that is last effort Saturday. That's like the 29th or something like that. Cutoff's on the 30th. Wow. That
Okay,
is
for those of
last
us
effort.
maybe who aren't sure where that field is located, where is it? Oh, Philly. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. This is checking out.
Max pissed. Yeah, are you Karen, you're on thin ice, girl.
Oh wow.
Mac, stop being so goofy over there. Come on, man. I said for those of us who don't know,
yeah.
outside for Sam.
Oh wow!
Oh,
So he gets a
wow.
race. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, a great benefit that he gets to stay in this country because, like I said, there's races all over the world. So he probably was staring down the barrel for a moment there of being able to fly to God knows
Jeez.
where in Europe to go get a race. But good on him. 8:15. I'm sure they'll load that thing up with pacemakers and try and get him through. So
I
they should.
wonder if his boy Kenneth will help.
Maybe.
I-
Maybe.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Right.
I just feel like they will load this to the best of their ability. I think guys in this field, and this is a true. I feel like I knock America too much, but a true testament what you guys do. Like you help each other out so well. Like I could see guys flying to that race to be like, all right, dude, let's try and get you on the team.
That's so nice of you.
That's so nice of you.
I don't want to always come across as negative. Like
Yeah.
you guys support each other incredibly well. So
Coffee shit.
yeah,
but
good
we're
for
friendly
him.
about it.
I'll be coffee's still trash, but spirit is right there. So I'll be watching that as a guy who loves the points. I'm sure Chris will be watching that. I'm pretty pumped to see if he can get in that quota spot.
Do we need to get a live feed on Evan Jager too? I mean, is he going to be watching this? Do you think someone like him is tuning in to this on a live stream and seeing, or is he kind of taking a back seat and just hoping the news reaches him?
I think
He'll be watching. Yeah.
I mean, I know the news will reach him.
He's racing? Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see him not watching it.
Right.
Who cares?
Right. Yeah.
But
And that was his kind of demeanor. It was, I think, as we saw in the post-race interview and we talked about, he's not ecstatic that he's in this position. But either way, by the end of that meet, we'll have an answer and we'll know who's going. But, someone that we all need to tune into, if you're not here today, to watch in the 800-meter final to cap it up is Athing Mu. I mean, we can't leave this, chat without bringing her into the mix because this is going to be her third race this season. Which the other two were the semi and the original race. Was that the name of them?
The Heat?
yeah, the original.
prelim? Yeah.
Heat
No, the
one.
Oh, you got out of the original rounds.
No, it's the original and the sequel.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
this is the trilogy now.
Yeah.
We're coming in
trilogy
hot
of racing,
with the trilogy, and she's the Avenger that I'm rooting for here, and she's coming in. I think a little nervous. I would. I don't want to say that about someone of gold medal caliber like her, but she's this being your third race. You're racing your way into shape. I can't imagine she's lining up as gold Olympic gold medalist thing, but I also think she doesn't need to. I think her PRs say she can come, not at full strength, and she's gonna dominate.
Yeah, I think a great point. Like this is her third race. So we spoke about it yesterday. She looks gettable. She looks like someone that could, she might not win.
Right.
And I think the storyline going into this was like it's a thing, and then let's just see who gets like second and third. But after watching
it's a thing
these,
one and then a thing
it's
two
like
and
after
three.
watching these races, it's like okay, if the race doesn't go her way or she doesn't quite have that pop that she usually has. Do not be surprised if the likes of some of these women can come over the top, like Sage Herdklicker, Raven Rogers, Kay Grace. These are three we've spoken about. One that I thought looked really good was Nia Aikens as well. I actually think she's moved through these rounds really unspoken about. She got clear space yesterday to get through to this final. She was really, really comfortable in those heats as well. She's someone who's medaled at these USA champs before. So it's, has she? She won. There you go. Okay, so she's last year's national champion and sort of, I don't know. I don't be surprised if she can get some clean air if she's the one that's kicking down really hard in that last 120. So she's going to have her suitor of challenges. It's a really, really important time for to Athing to show, even when I'm not at my best, I can still win this. So I think it's going to be a cracker.
Yeah, we're gonna see it. And to me, Nia, she's someone that's crossing the line, and she's not looking spent like we've seen. I mean, I know you mentioned Raven Rogers, and yes, I do think she had an incredible finish. But if you saw that photo, she looked like she was straining a bit. I think Sage maybe didn't look, especially with her form. I don't think it broke down as much. But we're seeing people kind of straining to get to the final. And again, we're going to see who was, hoping to make the final and who's hoping to make top three.
Allie Wilson.
Yeah, and Allie Wilson is someone who looked great.
Oh, yeah.
Great in her semifinal yesterday. She made it a hard race, took it with over a lap to go and pushed the pace and got her big cue to get in. She's someone who's for sure going to be in there. She's she won a national title? Was it indoors? But she's a national champion. So she's lining up today, fully expecting to make that team. But yeah, there's a handful of women who all have a good shot to make that team. Nia has looked great. She covers moves, not just covers moves. She kicks and closes that last 150 so well. Shifts gears pretty effortlessly, which is an unbelievable. A pretty good skill to have for the 800.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm a believer in this. 1, 2, 3. shoot your shot, make a call. Because there's nothing worse in media when people are like, I always thought that chick was going to do well. It's like, I've never heard you say her name once, but like, good for you, man. So who do you think? 1, 2, 3. Who you got?
I mean, for me, it's who's 2, 3 like that.
So you've still got a thing.
Yeah,
cleared out.
I just think you can't mess it up with the thing. I mean, yeah, to me, it's like that's number 1, and then 2, 3. I mean, I'm gonna go a little wild because I know I haven't been talking about Allie Wilson. I'm getting a little crazy here, guys.
Yes, go wild.
Buckle up. I haven't talked about Allie Wilson much, but I think you're right. Like, Eric, kind of what you said. We've seen her just be pretty consistent here and race very smart, and I'm going to go her for 3. So I'm going to start backwards there. I know.
It's a real wild card.
It's a wild card. And then for 2, it's got to be Sage. I think Sage Hurta-Klecker, to me, is getting through these rounds pretty seamlessly, and, again, just been consistent throughout the year. So that's my top.
Eric?
And I always knew. And I always knew that they were going to make it.
Yeah, well, there you go. But now if it comes off,
Yeah, I
you
know.
look like a genius.
You go. I need time to think.
Okay. Well, I think my number 1 is a thing, but I think it's not going to be as easy for her as what people would have thought coming into this.
Yeah.
I think she's going to have to really scrap and battle her to stay in front, but you cannot knock the caliber and the class of, a gold medalist. So I think a thing gets there. I honestly think Nia Akins comes through for 2nd. I actually think that she, like Eric said, she doesn't just cover moves, she actually makes moves.
Yeah.
And she's able to kick away and work really well. And if you go back and watch that semi, she wasn't the first one across the line, but the comfortability of that final 50 was really effortless. So that actually really impressed me. And 3rd, I think, is Sage, but I think it's going to be a real strong battle with Raven Rogers.
Yeah,
right behind her there. So I could interchange Sage and Raven for 3rd, but I'm going to rock with Sage.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. A thing, Nia, Raven.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first, and if we're wrong, no, we weren't. But except for it's on camera. Except we have footage of it, so whoops.
Yeah, you can go back and watch this. Yeah,
Yeah, just
you can
on
see.
replay.
Yeah, you can see.
Wow. Well, guys, we got an exciting event on tap today. Please tune in for the later coverage of the show, right? We've got some exciting guests on later. We've got the Old Dogs Track Club coming in hot. And then, of course, we're going to have the nightly recap, hopefully after some exciting events today. And just remember, come on out, protect yourself, get some sun exposure because it's a sunny day here, but not the UV with the I Love Track and Field hats. We're all going to be wearing them, right, guys? Right?
Absolutely. Yep. It's Eric's Day today.
It's Eric's
For show. Happy Eric Day.
Woo! Tune on in later, guys. Thank you guys for being here, and good morning. And we'll see you a little bit later. Bye-bye.